Now here's another little update. I welded these tong handles on here straight onto the thing and took this rivet out down here so it wasn't moving the inside, and I got it to shift good. So I couldn't get the boot on. I've got a boot here. I could get it on, but it wouldn't work. And this is kind of floppy, as you can see, especially without this rivet in it. And so I took all this junk off of here, putting in different gears, and I've got this now where it moves real good and smooth, and it's pretty strong. Stronger than it was before anyway. And what I'm going to do is cut my two wells there and the tack there, and then I'm going to have to weld this center to this arm right here somewhere with a little plate or something, and that should give me a good well, at least a little more sturdy shifter handle. So I'm going to cut that off there, and we'll see where we need to weld the plate. I found a little piece of tapered pin. I've kind of got the shifter a little far forward, I guess, but for park that's good enough. I'm just going to tack it on there because I don't know if it's going to, when I pull this back, if it's going to hit down here or not. I'll just tack it and see what it looks like, and then see if it works. Well, that looks pretty good. I think it's a little far forward, but it's pulling back to a decent reverse, and then that would be low, drive 2, drive 3, and park. So I think that's good enough. I'll put the handle on it and go set in it and see what it feels like. Well, it's awfully far forward, and I have to lean up to get it into park. So what I should do, this thing should be pointing about like that. There's drive, see, and when I'm leaning in the seat, my fingers will just barely touch it, so I need to move it back to about there. Should be drive. So I got to pull it back a couple inches. That's reverse now, so I'll take that little pin out of there and move it back some. Well, it's awfully far forward, and I have to lean up to get it into park. So what I should do, this thing should be pointing about like that. There's drive, see, and when I'm leaning in the seat, my fingers will just barely touch it, so I need to move it back to about there. Should be drive. So I got to pull it back a couple inches. That's reverse now, so I'll take that little pin out of there and move it back some. Well, that pin I had down there was way too big because it was getting too close to this hinge part right here. So this was one of the pins that came out of the bottom, and I kind of gooped it in there. Right now, leaning back, I can just touch it. Have to lean forward just a little bit. There's reverse. I'm leaning all the way back. There's my drive ranges and neutral, and then I have to lean up a little to get it into park, which is fine. it's pretty comfortable for low gear here. Knees clearing it good. So good enough for this. I still need to mount it a little bit. I can probably twist it around and give me a little straighter shot on that cable. But anyway, it's in and it seems to work pretty good. I think I'll put a little more welding on that pin down there. That's all I need is for it to break, not have any shifter. Probably get a little more on the bottom. I really can't weld too much on this one here. I'll get into my hinge and I don't want that. Anyway, I'll see what I can do. I just brushed it off good. Squirt a little black paint on it. It's going to be all covered up, but anyway, it's just to make it protected a little bit. And put the cover on it, and we'll be good to go. Alright, fooling around with this switch. Turned out that sometimes it worked, sometimes it wouldn't. I traced it down to this T-switch. This is the second one I've got, and apparently it's not working on the start. So what I did is put a big button in it there, and it won't work at all when the key's off. Key's on, it'll work. So that fixed that, and then my starter switch here, it's pressing it down here in park. Pull it up into neutral, it's still holding it engaged, and if there isn't any more bumps in it, there might be one there. It might start in reverse, I'm not sure. Anyway, I can grind that bump off if not. But anyway, the main thing is it only starts in park and neutral at this point. So that's kind of done. And I was didn't want to bore any holes in that dash, and finally, man, I just as hell with it. You know, I bore a hole in there and put a switch in, and I open the holes up here for the turn signals. I can see them real good. I've got another one over here, a red light. I want to hook this one in right here by the water temperature, so it'll turn on when the fan's running. You can't hear the fan when the motor's running. But the way I've got that switch there wired is that it grounds the it's just like the thermostat clicking, so it's really not power to it or anything. It's just grounding the power side of that thing. So I need to figure out some way of getting the wire from the hot side of the fan up here for that light, and at this point I don't really know how. It looks like there might be I can jump it off of the little solenoid up there for the fan, and probably run another wire up here for this light. But since I got the dash kind of taken out again, might as well do that before I put it back together, and that'll be hopefully the end of taking this dash out. Tack still bouncing around. That was what started this whole thing, trying to trace down the wires, but I thought it might have been close to voltage wire. I moved them around. This is the second tack. Brand new one, doing the same thing the old one was. So, but they were cheap. They were like 20 bucks or something, $17. Probably need to just buy a good tack. But I tried all the wires and everything different, put resistors in it. It's still acting weird. So anyway, that's where we're at for now. Got a starter button in it. Yeah, I got that sorted out. This white wire here, I just took it to the power to the fan and brought it over here to the light. And see that the power works good. And there's an interesting thing about these lights. It's running. You turn it off, see the light dims, and then goes dim, 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 and then finally out. So what happens is that motor is acting like a generator. It's producing DC volts when it's turning. So what will happen when you're driving down the road like 30 miles an hour, it looks like the fan's on. Because it's generating power. Now you can fool around and put a diode or something in there to make sure that electricity only goes one way, but basically if I had a diode, I just cut this and put it in there so the current will go that way, and then it won't, none of it come back this way through to the light. Let me see if I got a diode and we'll do that. Well, here we go. It's all back in and bolted up. Everything working here. We got 16 miles on it. Fan works good. Tachometer does its thing when you turn it on. So it's all back in. Got my neutral indicator here. And start there. Don't do anything when it's in gear. So now I gotta put the cover on it and a knob. Clean up my mess here. Kind of started on the shifter and went to the, found a bad circuit here in my key switch. Fixed that. Since I was in there, I went ahead and put the starter and the light on, and so I shouldn't have to take that dash out anymore. It's not that bad really. 6 volts, pretty easy to get out. I'll try to work on this, get it cleaned up, and I'll call that kind of done for the day. Well, there we go. It's in solid. I need to make some kind of a plate to go around there. And it used to have a shift indicator over here. I could probably make something like that for it too. That's what this cable here does. Hooks into it back here, but anyway, it's covered up all of that ugly, and a lot more solid than it was. So it's kind of a done deal. Clean up all my junk here, and call this a pretty good lick for a day. Yeah, that big old tong on there looked more rat, but this looks more like a little more professional, at least in the shifter department, and it works good, so I can make something there and make a pretty decent indicator. I'll just have to cut a square plate and hog it out for that boot, put some screws in it, should be fine. Moving along here to the shifter, I just took a cutoff tool here and whacked me out a piece and hit it a little bit with one of these grinding wheels. You can cut sheet metal pretty good on a board because the board will stop the thing from going through and digging and gouging. But anyway, here's a piece, and should fit pretty close there. See if I can put it in and see what happens. I'll just try to video it. I got one side, there's a little place on the passenger or driver's side there that's got a little cutout in it. I think that's for the gear indicator, but I'm just trying to get this rubber stuck up in here where there's a groove. It looks pretty good. I'm still being real careful because this sheet metal, when you cut it like that, has sharp edges. There we go. How about that? So that looks pretty good. It's got a little it's not flush, of course, because of the way I got these bolts in here, but that looks pretty decent. Went in all right. I'm going to squirt a little paint on it, but looks like it's pretty nice. I didn't cut an indicator hole or anything like that in here on that side, but it looks pretty straight, good enough, and a few screws in it should hold it down good. Let's give it a paint, see what it looks like. Oh, there it is. Looks like it was done right. Park is good. Sort of a safety deal here. It won't start in park. You have to push forward and hold it. You can pull it into neutral and it will start, but it won't start in any other gear. So even though it's in park, it won't start. You can hit this button all you want, nothing happens. So, but if you hold forward on this, that's enough to turn that switch on and it will start. But if you pull it into neutral, it starts. It just won't start in park. I didn't design it that way, it just happened to be the way that it is. So it's kind of a two-handed deal if you're going to try to start it in park. But the switch is good for neutral and not good anywhere else. Anyway, shifter looks a lot better than it did before with that big old ugly fork out sticking up. And now I'm just thinking, you know, I haven't sold this thing and these seats are bad. Yeah, they're alright for seats, you know. But I'm gonna take another piece of metal like this, and I'm gonna put a roof on this thing. I'll put one here, like a 45 to the back, and then one that'll go straight up and down from this area, probably up to about this high, just a little higher than this roof. I have 3 pieces, and I've got another piece of plexiglass. It doesn't have to be as big as that window. I've got another whole sheet like this, 75 bucks. This one here I ordered and took forever to come, and then finally I ordered another one. I was going to return this one, and it came the next day. So anyway, I got a lot of licks on. I could make a window for it, a little back window. It didn't have to be very good. I'll have to figure out from the mirror how I can see through the window, see through the window, and how high it's going to be and stuff. And if I can make a trunk like this, I could make a metal roof if I wanted, and it would look alright. And I've got a big piece of stainless over there. It's probably big enough for a roof, but I don't really want to put a metal roof on it. I'd rather put a fold-up convertible roof. I don't know. We'll take a look and see. Anyway, that's kind of a done deal on the shifter. Looks a whole lot better. I'll put some black floorboard in it, and it'll look a lot better than it does right now. With the seat business here, I got to do something about that. I could just make a bench seat, make it out of this, you know, 1/2-inch square tubing, and piece of plywood, and pad it with 4-inch foam and cover it. Not that big a deal. Just really hadn't done it. I drove it today again. Went and filled it up with gas. 30 bucks filled it up, and so that's enough to drive quite a while. I ran it all out just sitting here idling and fooling with it, but it seemed to be shifting good. Still not perfect, but it's shifting up through the gears and downshifting when I stomp on it, and just needs a little more tweaking. Anyway, moving along. I put this in for my comfort.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, if I put it in the middle, I can't get my leg over.
No, yeah,
So,
I get it sitting there.
so if I grab your leg,
No offense.
it's just because I like you.
And you have a mask just in case.
Yeah.
Not at all, actually. It was a lot of fun. Exactly what
Yeah, you don't have to be ginger with it. Doors. So that's it. Runs and drives, goes straight. Steer, stops, wheels, tires, stopping and starting. Well, guy come and looked at this today. Loved it. Looks like I sold it. Still don't have any title or anything, so but he's got a running and driving project. Didn't get what I wanted out of it, but I got enough. Motor runs good. Yeah, I needed to put another $1,000 for tires. But anyway, it was all done. A good project. Kind of hate to let it go, but summer's over, rain's coming. I don't really have any place to store it or park it, and I think it's going to a good home. The guy really liked it, so the end of this story, and move on to this Roadrunner here. Plenty of work.
Get to the DMV and
All of it,
Oh yeah.
you know.
The whole madness is annoying.
Yeah, I was thinking about calling it the COVID rat. You know, but I'll probably never have another
Rat
one
19.
like that, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
that was so unique,
yeah, it's really cool.
and
Yeah. He's gonna love on it, so.
I really wanted to keep it, but you know, once I drove it and
What you doing with my car? Where you been? How you been, Bob?
good.
We got
12,000.
not bad.
Actually, that's what I wanted for it.
You got what you wanted.
He had 9.5.